Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another videos. Another paid request this time for Devon. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Baby Boy, which for some reason I kept thinking Baby Blue. I don't know why, but it's Baby Boy. Directed by John Singleton from 2001. And John Singleton, of course, directed Boys in the Hood. He would go on to direct a few films. I think he did the Samuel L. Jackson film Shaft, that remake. He did Too Fast, Too Furious. Sadly, he's passed away. Pretty damn good filmmaker. This one, overall, was interesting, although the word weird kept coming up in my head. Because it's talking about the hood once again, but not a copy of Boys in the Hood, where in this case it's about a guy played by Tyrese, who I like Tyrese. I liked him in the Transformer films. I've liked him in the Fast and Furious films. I know he's had a lot of issues throughout his life. I hope he works them out, because I do like him. And he plays a guy who is living a life where he's got one girlfriend, he's got a baby with her, he's got this other girl, he's got a baby with her. He's with his mom, and his mom has a new boyfriend played by Ving Rhames, who's an ex-con. And he's unsure because he doesn't know if he should trust this guy, but at the same time, Tyrese is a guy that never wants to grow up. He doesn't have a job, he doesn't work, he makes money by ripping off dresses and selling them all on the streets with his buddy, and he'll go to one of his girlfriend's place to get some food, or just a guy that is just not at all responsible. So we see him throughout his life and throughout this course of how his one girlfriend, his main girlfriend, is just tired of his infidelity, tired of his bullshit, that he's not growing up. And that's the thing with Tyrese's character, is that there are times you're just like, you just want to get him and shake him up and just, wake the fuck up, what are you doing? One thing leads to another, and his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, Snoop Dogg, he gets out of jail. And because her and Tyrese are kind of on the splits, Snoop Dogg swoops in, but then he's even way worse. So I like the actors involved. I do like Tyrese. His character's he's a bit iffy, but at the same time he's supposed to be iffy, because he's supposed to be this type of character that then by the end has grown. And I think Tyrese did what he could with the role. The movie does seem to be a bit long. I think it's a little over 2 hours. I don't know if it needed to be that way. But the reason I kept saying weird kept popping up in my head, which I will say, it does give it a bit of uniqueness. One of the first shots is Tyrese, full grown ass Tyrese, as a baby in a womb. And you see him kind of this with all this stuff in, and he's like sleeping, and all this stuff around him, like he's in a womb. And he tells about how, grown men, at times they still act like kids. They call their girlfriend mama. They call their friend their boys. And their home they call their crib. So if that doesn't tell you what John Singleton's trying to go, it's a whole bit story of guys that kind of don't grow up, and they will sleep around and have all these babies, and they don't take responsibility, and that is, for John Singleton's viewpoint, that's happening with a lot of people throughout the country. But I said throughout the film, there's just these things that keep happening that just seems very weird and almost like a so bad is good way at times. Like Tyrese, at times, like the movie's trying to make him pathetic. So there's a party that kind of feels sorry for him, but there's a party that's like, you deserve this big kick in your ass. But then there are sometimes you kind of understand his viewpoint. For example, I can understand his viewpoint of not trusting Ving Rhames' character. He's a big buff guy, he's an ex-con. He looked into Ving Rhames' history and he had done violent crimes and he even abused his old girlfriend. So he doesn't want this guy to beat up his mom. But on the flip side, the time that he's there, Ving Rhames treats his mom, Tyrese's mom, fairly well. And he's being very nice. And he loses with Tyrese, puts him in a big old chokehold. But at the same time, it's not like what Tyrese was saying was wrong. So you definitely get this bit of friction between the two. And at the end, you kind of get Tyrese's point of view because he mentions how he had a brother who was kicked out from his mom's last boyfriend. His brother ended up dying on the streets. That seems like something that could have been developed a bit more. Whether it be him coming to terms with his brother's death, or him and his mom, or him and Ving Rhames talking about, I don't want to end up like my brother, and like I said, it seems like there's stuff like, considering the long running time, there's stuff that could have been developed even more. Like I said, there's some weird ass shit in it. I mentioned the baby, the growing ass baby at the beginning of the womb. Other stuff, he'll find Ving Rhames naked in the kitchen making food. So Ving Rhames comes up. So he comes across Ving Rhames, and Ving Rhames is butt ass naked. So if you want to see Ving Rhames' ass, here you go. There's a bit where, and yeah, the chickens and roosters outside, they don't want to think of Ving Rhames' ass too. Maybe they do, and they're very excited about it. Maybe they think the fucking ass is finger looking good. Well, now that I calmed these things outside, I guess they were excited about Ving Rhames' ass being mentioned in the ether. The reason I said the reason I said this movie's really weird, like there's a bit where his girlfriend asks, "You been fucking around?" to Tyrese. "You been fucking around? Let me smell your dick." Now, I don't know how many times anybody in the history of ever had a girlfriend who thought the way to find out if your boyfriend's cheating on you is to smell your dick. Again, first time for everything, I guess. Or when there's a scene when Tyrese is hearing his mom having sex and Ving Rhames is doing like a fraud sex position where he's like got her like this, and there's like wide shot where he's like waddling but humping her, like frog hopping. I'm like, what is this? Is this meant to be like funny? Like, it's so weird. Like, it's supposed to be like, funny. Like, it's just really weird. Or another bit where when Snoop Dogg is at Tyrese's old girlfriend's place, and there's Tyrese's son, Snoop Dogg just treats him like shit. It's like, "Oh, you got a fort, little kid? Fuck your fort. Fuck you, little fort. I hate you. I hate you too, little bit. You fuck your punk ass daddy, bitch." And like I said, there's weird stuff that John Singleton does in this. All that stuff I mentioned. There's a bit where it's a cheat, where there's a drive-by and you see Tyrese get shot and killed. Very over dramatic. but then someone comes up to him and he didn't get shot, and then the movie plays what really happened. There's a drive-by, he just dropped to the ground and they went by. I'm like, that's a cheat. It's like, okay, what do I have our take needed to? We have the dramaticity where someone gets shot, but at the same time, nah, actually that didn't happen. It just felt, I didn't even see the need for that scene. I don't know why that scene needed to happen, why that scene needed to exist. You could have easily had him avoid it and see like a bullet hole that was close to him or grazed him and get the same reaction. I could have died. I could have died. This is very strange. There's the bit where he's such a loser that these kids steal his bicycle. Because he's kicked out of his girlfriend's place after the fight and they hit each other. And then he has no car, so he's got the bicycle. And then these younger folks beat him and almost steal his bike. They steal his bike for a bit and they go, "We don't want your fucking bike." So I didn't know if I was going to laugh, if I'm laughing at it or with it. So I didn't know what John Singleton was really going for. But the things do work out eventually by the end. I thought that in Tyrese, I guess originally John Singleton wanted Tupac Shakur for this, but he had passed away, so they got Tyrese. I don't know if Tupac would have done this movie, where I just don't see Tupac getting beat up by younger folks after getting pushed off his, or them trying to steal his bicycle. I don't see him being in a full grown ass man being in a womb. Or these nightmare scenes that seem fairly over dramatic, where he's like, he has a nightmare that he died, and other people are screaming, "Oh no, no!" I said, I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh or not laugh. But I said, I like Tyrese as an actor, so it was nice to see him kind of dip his toe into acting with films like this. I thought the lady that played his girlfriend did a rather good job trying to hold things together, where she's raising this kid and she loves Tyrese, but at the same time he's not treating her right, and then she doesn't know what to do. These are the bit where Snoop Dogg almost rapes her, but thankfully doesn't follow through. Snoop Dogg, I was kind of entertained by him, just how much of an asshole he was, especially to the kid. Just kicked the kid's little pillow fort. Give a fuck about you little fort. He just kicked it for no reason, being a complete dickhead. Spoiler alert. The mom blames him for this weed that was planted in her garden. And he's like, "I didn't do it." Then you kind of find out Ving Rhames did it. And he does apologize. But I kind of get Tyrese's point of view, where when I did it, you went into this total freak out, but when he does it, you're nonchalant and perfectly fine with it. At the same time, you get the mom's point of view. Well, do you pay bills? Do you do this, do that? I'm like, those are valid reasons, but at the same time, you were wrong about this, and you never admit that you were wrong. You blamed your son for something he didn't fucking do. And then, one of the reasons Tyrese is worried about this, because the guy has a history of beating up his women, and the mom never really has that conversation, has that thought, says, "Well, you know what, that was in the past, he's a better person. Listen, I'm sorry that I blamed you for this, but that doesn't negate the fact that you still jump around responsibility, you still..." Like I said, there's no big conversation on that. That seems like it should happen. Or some big conversation about the brother that passed away. that seems like it should happen, that seems like probably should have happened long ago. So Tyrese leaves. One thing leads to another. He finds out what happened to his girlfriend, or at least what almost happened. You had the drive-by scene that he almost gets shot. Him and his buddy decides to come across Snoop Dogg, which I guess they're, well, I mean, they mess with his fuse box outside. They're able to tackle him, and Tyrese, spoiler alert, they wound his legs, but he can't shoot him, but his buddy does. And then Tyrese is so horrified that he goes back home, and then he's ready to end his life. And I thought this was a bit over dramatic as well, because number one, maybe he thinks his life is over, but at the same time, there's still no inclination, and there never is, that anyone saw them do it, that they didn't get away with it, because they did. He didn't shoot the guy, someone else did. You think he's 20 years old, living in the hood, probably not the first time he's seen someone get killed, or knows or heard someone get killed. But it does lead to a nice little scene where Ving Rhames comes in. No dialogue between the two. Eases the gun, gets it away from him. And once again, they never have that conversation of... There's never like Ving Rhames being a father figure to Tyrese, or the sort of just, I guess, silently understanding each other. Like I said, it seems like there's some important bits of communication that should happen between Tyrese and Ving Rhames, or Tyrese and his mom. Again, about the brother and all that stuff. Never really comes to fruition. But I guess after that, now he's finally grown up a bit. He's taking responsibility. He's going to take care of his woman and that baby. I don't know about the woman and the other baby, because I forget now what the fuck happened with that. Because we see him with his one girlfriend and taking care of that baby. But I'm like, well, what about the other baby? What about the other girl? I know she... They might have explained it. I forgot, though. So it's not as well constructed compared to Boys in the Hood. I definitely would not say it's John Singleton's finest hour. Apparently this is labeled as like such a horrible film and John Singleton's worst film. I don't know if I call it his worst film. I do think there's some positive aspects to it. Like I said, I do like seeing Tyrese. I do like seeing Ving Rhames. Like I said, I think the other actors did their jobs fairly well. And I can't say it was forgettable. There's always some weird shit like, you been cheating on me? Let me spill your balls. Or, hey, let's see Tyrese has a grown-ass baby in a womb. Or these weird, like, dream scenes or psyched out scenes. He's shot with drive-by, but he's not. So, I guess you see that at least John Singleton didn't want to just copy Boys in the Hood. You know, his success of that. And I don't know, I don't think this film, don't think it did that well? I don't know. I think this might have been the last film John Singleton tried to do the Hood type of movie. Just if I think about it, let me look up his filmography before I head out here. Says I gotta edit this stuff together because stupid, again, chickens roosters are too, have a cock-a-doodle-doo about Ving Rhames' ass. Let me see. Passed away 2019. Seemed like passed away fairly young. 51 years old, so yeah, fairly young. Suffered a stroke and was placed under intensive care. Because he had done Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, Rosewood, Shaft, Baby Boy, Too Fast, Too Furious, Four Brothers, and Abduction. Don't mind Four Brothers. I do like Too Fast, Too Furious. Abduction I didn't see. But let me see. I'm trying to look. 71% of Rotten Tomatoes, so preaching repetitive in parts, still manages to exude authenticity thanks to his competent cast. There you go. Roger Ebert. Bold criticism of a young black man who carelessly fathered babies. Don't even think of looking for work. 3.5 out of 4 stars. The adults enjoy his life, blame him for his own troubles, and they should. And director John Singleton was part of the movie. Not necessarily a perfect film, but just something that you watch. It's memorable. That's what I love about the movie. Well, like I said, it's not forgettable. I'll say that. 6.4 on IMDb. Like I say, it's a film that its heart's in the right place. And I get what it's going for. Like I said, there's certain aspects of the script I kind of wish they strengthened up, like I mentioned. Like, strengthen those up and tighten up the pacing of it. But other than that, like I said, I just see how people watch it go, what the fuck is this? There's some parts that I think redeem a bit of laughability to it, but overall, I would say I didn't mind the film for what it was. I did not mind it. That's just me, though. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.